What is up, guys? Matt here to give you the final video between the CS2 and the M3s. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to go through each thing on each gun and some parts that I like, some parts that I don't like, and this is just an opinion, so some things I may not like, you may like, some things you may like, I may not like. So just to give you an idea of some of the pros and cons that I think both guns have, and my thoughts and all that stuff, and which one is the winner, because this is about winning. Let's begin. So we have both cases here. As you can see, the CS2 case is a little bit bigger, which really doesn't mean anything when it comes to cases. But as far as sturdiness goes, I think the M3s case wins just because it's so sturdy and it won't get any dents like this one. But both are cool. Both shouldn't be a factor when trying to buy a $1,500 plus paintball gun. Let's put that aside. Now when you look at the insides, very cool. They both have super similar guts. Dye went with Planet Eclipse's foam cutout, which I adore. They really did awesome when it comes to that. Doesn't allow any barrel backs to fall out and all that jazz. Both come with two barrel backs, one barrel front. Dye has the little sock condom thing that really kind of sucks, and then Planet Eclipse has a really nice barrel condom, so Dye, step up your condom game. This is where things get a little weird. The CS2 does come with a full-page manual, and the M3s does come with a startup guide, which is just kind of like a basics. O-rings, what O-rings are on what type of bolt, but it also comes with a nifty little flashcard. So the M3s in this situation is going to be a little more tech savvy, or just teched up. It does have a flashcard with your manual, so that's really cool, but I'd rather have a physical copy, not a make it or break it thing. Both have tools of the trade so that you can get in, and you know, I always have a pain getting Alright, I did it. So the CS2 has the Allen keys, and the Dye M3s has their little multi-tool set, which is amazing. It has screws, bottle openers, a knife, a little O-ring pick, all of these really nice Allen keys that you're going to be able to use. But in my experience, when I was trying to get in and customize the trigger settings, I had to whip out the CS2 Allen keys just because it's easier to kind of get in there with the angle, so you don't have to, you know, like rub against the trigger guard and all that stuff. So the CS2 also does come with an extra bolt tip. The M3 does not. Both come with lube and your spare parts kit. So as far as cases go and everything that comes with it, I mean, they're both kind of unique in their own, so I'd say they're both even in this part. Alright, let's talk about these barrels. So the M3s is going to come with the Dye UL barrel back, which they're famous for, some of the best barrels out there, and their new ULS tip, which is supposed to make the shot quieter. It looks a lot sleeker. It looks really nice, and through testing I did find out that it does make the shot deeper and a little more unnoticeable when you're shooting on the field, if you're getting shot at and all that jazz. The CS2 does come with the FL barrel. It does have a little bit of like half an inch, so I guess this is a 14-inch barrel, this is a 14.5-inch barrel. The thing I do love about the FL barrel is that it does have a long control bore, so if we were to match it up here, you can see it does have like a good solid inch or inch and a half on the barrel back of the UL. And as you guys know, longer control bore does relate to, you know, better efficiency, better consistency. Just all around, it's just better to have a longer control bore so that the air pushing behind the ball is just pushing it. Anyway, as far as these barrels go, it's super tough to pick which one you prefer. Again, this is just an opinion-based thing. Do you like the UL? Do you like the FL barrel? That's a tough one. So that's up to you guys. They're both top of the line barrels. They're both amazing, and that's what it is. Alright, so let's get back into the actual markers. So we have here the Planet Eclipse CS2, and we have the Dye M3s, of course the Texas edition. You can tell that they look a little bit different, you know, both repping the companies. But I guess what we can start with is going to be the grips. Dye, right off the bat, I'm just going to say, makes some of the best grips in the game. They are sticky, they feel amazing. They have this new front where you can just slip it off to get to the reg, slip it back on, just like the CS2 and the CS1 and everything else, so hats off to Dye for that. They do have the amazing hourglass feel in the back, which feels phenomenal. But I guess my only gripe would be that if you ever were to get these grips off, you're going to have to do the pull and tear method because they are toolless grips, much like the CS2. But these grips are such high quality, soft, sticky grips that you have a high chance of ripping them, which is a big bummer. I know a lot of people rip the back here and they have to get new grips, and it's just a shame. So if they were even to step back and put like 2 screws in each one, I would be a happy camper because then I get to keep these grips for as long as possible. They also have the joystick in the back. It's really neat. They really need to make this out of better material because it will rub off. I've seen a lot of used M2 guns, not M3s yet, but if you use your marker a lot and you're rubbing it and I guess not so much holding it, depends on how you hold it, but I guess going through all the settings it will rub off this chrome part and make it kind of look bad. So bring it back up to the CS2. The CS2 does have these very comfortable grips. They aren't as sticky as the M3 grips, but they are very nice to hold nonetheless. They are like that waterproof kind of sticky material. They are toolless, and they did have a brilliant way of doing it. You just have this switch here. You just snap those, and then you could just take it off like so, and then take off the front. I don't really want to take off the front because it's a pain in the butt a little bit. Not really, but I'm just lazy right now. But here you go. You just see the back. All right, I'll do it. And you take that, and you pop that right here, and you pull that off, just like that. So I'm not really as worried when I yank at these because these are kind of like I don't know, you can hear that, right? Like they're not like that high quality, they are high quality, but they're not like that sticky, soft grip that I'm just worried about destroying. They also have this back here. As far as navigation goes, you have this back, easy little tiny screen, not as big as the M3s, but it is very convenient. You just double click on, it'll turn on, and I gotta give it to CS2 as far as the grips go, just because, in my opinion, well, the M3s has great grips, but the CS2's grips aren't gonna tear on you. And any of that jazz, and they're very easy to remove and all that stuff. So I guess, yeah, the CS2 for me wins in the grips, the grip department. Plus you could also take off the front grip and you have your batteries right here, just kind of lock and load. Just take that out and then right in there. Pop them out, pop them back in, 2 AA batteries, and you're set to go. So as far as the grips go, it's weird. Ergonomically the M3 wins, but overall, the CS2 wins for me. Another thing I wanted to touch up on was the ASAs. This can kind of be like another hit at the M3s, I guess, but the CS2 and I guess the CS1, the GO3.5, the pop system is just an excellent system. Not just the pop system, I mean even the Lux Ice has a great system. It's just like a lever that you just snap right in. It's just pop out, pop back in, and you're aired up and you're ready to go. The M3s does have the same lever design as the previous M2, DM15, DM14, 13, 12. I'm not sure if the 11 and 10 had it. I never had an 11 or 10. But it's just an outdated system in my opinion. I know a lot of people have hairline cracks when they air up their marker. You gotta use the tips of your fingers and all that jazz. And if your tank has an output pressure that's a little too high, it's gonna be harder to twist. So that causes some breaks. I really think Dye should update that. They came out with a really amazing marker, and I think that with the new bolt and the new regulator, new everything, They should have just been like, bam, here's a new ASA just to make it the best. But again, they didn't. So CS2 wins, in my personal opinion, as far as the ASA goes. As far as the feed neck goes, I mean, that's just personal preference. I know that the Dye M3s has a new big fat collar here, so it makes it easier to open close. You have a big little twisty here for you to twist to your heart's desire to make it tighter or looser. It does spin, which I'm not a fan of because I'm always OCD about making it straight. It's gonna bother me. I prefer the DM15 feed neck that was integrated into the body, which makes it just a lot simpler, in my opinion. The CS2 has it integrated, not into the body, but it's kind of screwed in. I don't know if you guys can see this little nut right here. This top part can come off, but it's really in there. No matter how loose this isn't going to spin. They do have a nice little twisty right here. So both have fat twisties on the top. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name for this little piece right here, but it's the little nut that you screw in and out to tighten or loosen your feed neck clamp. Both are fantastic. It's just personal preference. Again, this shouldn't be anything that should be a deciding factor when it comes to picking a very expensive high-end marker. Moving on to the triggers, the CS2 has a phenomenal, just new system of triggers called the rake trigger. This little screw right here on the top allows you to unscrew it. This whole thing will come off, the whole trigger assembly will come off. You'll be able to make it however you'd like, whether you want it to have more pull, less pull, more crispy magnetic shot, or a leafy spring shot. It really makes it simple if you have multiple triggers, because it did come with a blade trigger, but I did get an S trigger for it, so it made it very easy to switch in and out. But it took me like weeks to get this exactly where I wanted it. Honestly, I think the CS2's trigger feel is its weakest component, personally. I really hated the way this trigger felt. It felt a little unnatural. It still feels a little weird, even though I got it kind of where I like it. I did switch out the magnetic screw for the spring screw, because I know that they're really short screws, so the spring screw was longer, so I like a magnetic crispy shot. Some people love it how it was out of the box. I think it was one of the weakest points of the CS2, in my opinion. Of course, not saying anyone's wrong. The M3s, right out of the box, had an amazing trigger. It's just really nice. It has like that nice crispy, I don't know, I just really loved it. They did up their game. They do have these two screws here on the side for your post-travel and pre-travel, which made it really, really easy to adjust. No longer do you have to take the frame apart and all that stuff. They do have two screws right here in the trigger on the top that if you loosen, you can adjust how far it is forward or back, if you want it closer or farther away from the back grip. Both triggers both have this, but out of the box, I gotta give the trigger to the M3s just because it just felt amazing. And I just didn't have to worry about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. So M3 wins that round. Alright guys, now for one of the most important parts, the bolt system of both markers. So the M3s is gonna run on the FL21 bolt system. In my opinion, I think it surpasses all the other bolt systems that Dye had prior. It makes it more reliable, more efficient. So the M3s is dwell insensitive, from what I understand, and it has no LPR. So no more tinkering, no more worrying that your LPR is too low or too high, or maybe you just didn't set it right, or maybe you got to get these O-rings. It's a get it out of the box and you shoot it, and it's just fantastic. I do have a new bolt tip in there. As you can see, it is silver. Some of these guns were having paint breakage problems. Some people were getting frustrated. Dye came out with an update. Some guns came with the silver tip. Some guns, like now I'm sure that are being produced, just have the tip already in it as a one-piece thing. And it really shoots phenomenally. When you shoot this bolt, it just has this flat shot, a little bit of like feedback, but it is smooth. Like your barrel's not going to rise. It just has this like tick, tick, tick. I don't know how to describe it. I hope that some of my previous shooting videos give you a better example, just that example I just gave. It does run on 115 psi as far as the operating pressure, which is pretty low. It's smooth. I mean, if you guys are looking for which one is smoother, I can't tell you that. They're both amazing shooting markers. I mean, they're both very different shooting markers. They're both smooth. In my opinion, I think both companies moved away from the smooth battle, because I know everyone's like, what's smoother, the Lux Ice, the Lux, this, that, and they moved towards more of a reliable bolt system. So that's that bolt. Fantastic bolt. And this is going to be the Kamcord Pro. So it is based a little bit off of the Kamcord, or I should say a lot of it, because it is the Kamcord Pro. I don't think this comes out. It does come with the soft face tip, and different from the actual Kamcord, it does have a bigger air chamber here for a nice smoother shot and to allow it to give you just such good feelings when you shoot it. It does actually operate at 105 psi operating pressure, which is about 10 less than the M3s, and a lot of people will go, oh, then it must be smoother. I couldn't tell the difference. I think they're both pretty smooth. I think what it did achieve, I think what the Kamcord Pro does have over the FL21 bolt is its insane reliability. I did see a video of Madman just dunking peanut butter in this and then shoving it back in his gun, which haunts me hard, and then shooting over the chrono, and it still shot fine. You know, some peanut butter, which is fine, but it still shot just fine. I would like him to get an M3s and put peanut butter in there and see if it shoots. So if you're watching this, please do that. But as far as bolts go, personally, I think the Kamcord Pro is going to win, just because it is just, in my opinion, just a little simpler. I mean, you have the back end here, you have these O-rings, you push this through, and then you have these two pieces. And I'll get this bolt out for you, because then that wouldn't be fair. And in this bolt, you have this top end piece right here. I think you have to take off the tip O-ring, so I won't do that. And then you have this back end piece that you have to screw from the back, which has a spring. So I mean, if we were to line these up, I'm actually not too sure if this is in. That's probably not going to stand. But we have the can, the bolt tip, and the whole back is just kind of like one big assembly. And then with the Dye M3s FL21 bolt, we have the back end here, which is just the spring and some O-rings. We have this guy, which I'm pretty sure comes undone. So we have a couple pieces here that goes over. And then we have the bolt tip, and I believe that is the can that screw in. So as far as being reliable, being efficient, and overall just being really reliable, the I almost put this into the CS2. The Kamcord Pro, in my opinion, wins. Not saying that the FL21 isn't reliable, but that's just my opinion. And I think this is it. This is the winner. So really quick, I wanted to touch up on, I don't know if I went over it before, but the M3s does go on a rechargeable battery. It does come with the MOS Air board, which is a wireless charging. So you plug in a mat into the wall, you lay your M3s on the mat, and it'll charge, which is really neat. Apparently they go for 100,000 shots without having to recharge. I'm not sure how true that is, because that seems like a crazy amount of shots for a rechargeable battery. But it definitely could be true. I'm not saying it's not. That's just crazy. That's just crazy how far we've come. And the CS2 comes with two AA batteries that are in the front. Let's see if I can get this off. With their little lock and load system. That just got, oh, I have to squeeze both sides. So you just have two AA batteries. You stick that in here. You put this in there. Make sure that's snug. And then you're good to go and play. My personal opinion, I don't like rechargeable batteries, because if it craps out on you when you get to the field and that just happens to be the only marker you have, you gotta sit in your car if you're lucky enough to have a car charger. If you don't have a car charger, then you just have to go home and be really pissed off that you had a rechargeable battery. Versus if you had a normal batteries, you can just get a spare from the pro shop or whatever you have spares, or if you have anything in your gear bag. I personally just like the batteries just because you know that a new battery is a fresh charge and it's just more reliable in my opinion. I know that some pros carry those like phone charger, like fast charging, supercharging things that will work. In my opinion, if Dye wanted to keep the rechargeable batteries, then maybe have a spare in the case that it comes with, so maybe you could charge up both, so you can bring both to the field, and if this one somehow, some way craps out on you, it's not working right, because some rechargeable batteries are just like that sometimes, then you have a spare, and then you're good to go, and then I'd say both are the winners. But reliability for me is key, because driving 45 minutes to the field is a big pain in the ass. So in that sense, I think the CS2 would win. So last but not least, the ergonomics of the gun in total, something that I wanted to bring up to you because I know this is something that will affect everyone who want to get both markers. When you pick up a CS2, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is just, you're going to try it out at the shop. You're going to do one of these, you're going to maybe switch hands, do one of these, you're really going to feel it out. But something that you're really going to notice is that when you wrap your hand around it, there's a lot of space between the trigger guard and your thumb, because I have big hands. So when you're gripping this and you're playing, your hand can be fully wrapped and gripped around the front grip with no issue at all. Because I think Planet Eclipse really made this square trigger guard right here to really help out with that. The first thing I noticed with the M3s is that when I tried to squeeze my hand around, it felt fine, but when I started shooting it and playing with it, my thumb right here, this little bone, gets hit all the time with this trigger guard. I don't know if you guys can see that. So if you guys have bigger hands, this might be an issue for you. You might hold it up like that, with your thumb, or however some people hold it, like weird. I don't know. I saw a lot of weird things, when I see people play with their markers. So something that Dye really needs to think about is, I know they added a little more space here, but this giant trigger guard here isn't giving you a whole lot of space to put your hands here. So if you watch a lot of pro games, I think you'll notice something that I noticed is that the teams that are playing with the M3s don't always hold it here, but generally have their thumb up all the time, which is, it's a pet peeve. It's fine, but as far as that goes, the front grip is definitely the CS2, the back grip is definitely the M3s. So if you can give a half point to each of these, if you have little hands, then you might not even notice the front grip issue, but if you have bigger hands, CS2 really feels nice in the hands. They both feel great, but that was just my take on it. So something that Dye has that the CS2 doesn't have, or any other Planet Eclipse gun has, is their eye pipe system. So Dye has a little, I think it's polycarbonate eye pipe with some little orange detents that go right into the breech, and when the ball comes in, it reads it, you can pull the trigger, and it shoots it. Now, if you ever have a barrel break, like in my efficiency video, I broke 3 balls in 1,000 shots or so. The first 10 shots, of course, because everyone knows what happens when you break a ball, balls go flying. It just started cleaning itself out. And then the accuracy just went in, and then it was just right back to where it should have been. So one thing that the M3s has over the CS2 is the eye pipe system is a fantastic system, especially if you're shooting very brittle paints, or you're in a colder climate, or maybe it's just crazy hot and your balls are breaking. The eye pipe system definitely does help out with that. So overall, just to make this sweet and short, I hope that wasn't too long, giving you guys just a little shot of both guns. That's tough, but I'm gonna have to give it to the CS2. I know some people are gonna be upset, saying, "Oh, you're a fanboy" and all this stuff, but when you kind of break it down, I generally don't have a lot of chances and time to go play at the field. So I need to know 100% without a question in my mind that this gun is going to go out there and perform just like it would in any other condition or with any other paint and all that stuff. Plus, it is more efficient. It did shoot 1,300 shots on a 3,800 fill, and I still had 500 PSI left on the tank because I I didn't bring enough paint. It still haunts me to this day. I might have to do that video again. So personally, just my personal preference, I think the CS2 wins. I think it's a fantastic marker. Both are, but this one suits my needs better. But I do know that there's a lot of people that are going to adore the M3s. I adore the M3s, but if I had to choose one to keep forever, it would have to be the CS2. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope I didn't upset too many dye fans. I love this gun, please don't get me wrong, but as far as those go, the CS2 wins, but like just by a hair. You really can't go wrong when you go for markers that are $1,500 plus. I mean, they're gonna have all the works. They're both gonna shoot amazing, and they're both gonna shoot, faces very, very well. So I hope that helped you guys out. I hope that gave you an idea of what I noticed when I played with each, when I shot each, when I just held each in my hand for just hours and hours and days and sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching this far. I hope you liked it. If you want to see any more videos, just comment below. I'll see if I can get it done. And if you liked it, subscribe. Also, if you want any of these cool markers, if you want to get yourself a CS2, if you want to get yourself an M3s, if you want to get the barrels, Critical Paintball is the place to go. They are nice enough to help me out with these videos, and I owe it to them. So, thanks guys. Thanks for watching.